The day the rain knocked me to the ground was not the worst day of my life. The worst day was the day my father believed I was no longer worth going to school. I remember standing by the roadside that morning. My dress soaked. My basket heavy with oranges. I stood there, wondering how my life changed so fast. I was once a girl with books and dreams. Now, I was just another child calling out to strangers, hoping they would buy fruit, so I could return home before night fell. But to understand how I ended up on that road, you need to know what happened after my mother died. Her name was Miriam. And when she left this world, she took warmth with her. Our house became quiet, in a way that hurt the EARS. My father, Musa, tried to fill the silence, but grief made him slow and tired. I was still young, but I learned early that sadness can change people. At first, it was just the two of us. He woke me for school every morning, tried to smile while tying my scarf. Sometimes, he burned the food. Sometimes, he forgot my lunch. But he loved me. And that love was enough. Until relatives began to talk. A child needs a woman, they said. A home cannot run on one person's strength. That was how Zainab became my stepmother. In the beginning, she acted kind. She praised me loudly in front of my father. Called me my daughter when people were watching. But when we were alone, her eyes told a different story. Her smile disappeared. Her voice grew sharp. And my mistakes, no matter how small, were never forgiven. Still, I endured. Because school was my escape. School was the place where my name was spoken gently. Where my teacher once said I was bright and should never stop learning. I held on to those words like a promise. Then, one market day, everything changed. Zainab returned home later than usual, laughing with my class teacher, Madam Ruth. I noticed how close they walked, how their voices dropped when I passed. That night, Zainab spoke to my father with a worried tone that sounded real. She is not doing well in school, she said. Her teacher says she struggles to understand. Why waste money when the child is not serious? I froze. My father looked confused. I could see questions in his eyes. But Zainab cried and accused him of spoiling me. If you keep protecting her, she said, she will grow lazy and useless. That word, useless, followed me into my sleep. A week later, my school uniform was folded away. No explanation. No discussion. Just silence. Instead, a basket of oranges was placed in my hands. From that day, I became a hawker. Every morning before sunrise, I walked dusty roads, calling out to strangers. My feet cracked. My voice grew hoarse. When rain fell, I still walked. When hunger burned my stomach, I still walked. But hawking was only the beginning. When I returned home in the evening, rest never waited for me. I fetched water from the village stream. I bathed Zainab's children. I washed plates. I swept floors. Until my body begged me to stop. I slept when sleep allowed me. Sometimes, I cried quietly into my mat, careful not to make a sound. My father noticed the change. I grew thin, quiet. My eyes no longer held excitement. Once, he tried to speak for me. But Zainab turned on him. You are spoiling her, she said. Hard work will make her strong. So my father stayed silent. And silence, I learned, can be louder than cruelty. Then came the day. The sky turned against me. I did not know that morning would almost be my last. The rain came suddenly. Heavy. Unforgiving. My dress clung to my skin. My fingers went numb from cold. The road was slippery. My vision blurred. I heard a loud sound. Then pain. Then darkness. When I opened my eyes, people were shouting. My basket lay broken. Oranges rolled away in the rain. Like pieces of my life. Scattered beyond reach. I tried to move. But my body refused. I do not know how long I lay there. I survived. But something inside me broke open. The village began to talk. Why was she hawking in the rain? Why was she not in school? That evening, an old woman named Mama Sadia visited my father. Her voice was calm. But her words cut deep. A child pushed too hard, she said, does not break loudly. She breaks quietly. That night, my father looked at me properly. For the first time in months. He saw the tired eyes. The thin arms. The childhood taken from me. Without permission. He confronted Zainab. This time, he did not allow tears to stop him. The truth came out. Slowly. The false report. The secret friendship. The plan made in the market. Her lies collapsed. Under their own weight. By morning, the house felt different. Lighter. I returned to school months later. I was older than my classmates. Slower, at first. But pain had taught me patience. And patience carried me forward. Years passed. Today, I stand strong. When I speak, people listen. Not because I shout, but because I survived. I help children whose voices are ignored. I remind parents that silence can wound as deeply as words. And when rain falls suddenly, I remember the girl I once was. The girl who was knocked down, but refused to stay down. Some stories begin with joy. Mine began with pain. But it did not end there.